Storytelling is one of the most powerful ways that we can connect with our audience. But what if you don't know what stories to tell? And what if you run out of ideas? I've got a way for you to come up with stories for your content and never run out of ideas. Check this out. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
No, I'm done. One is enough.
Howdy, Jeff Bartsch here with Story Greenlight, where we're all about helping you create content that connects with the audience and makes a difference in the world. And if you like the ideas we talk about here, these are the kind of things we talk about all the time in our monthly membership called the Green Room. And the Green Room only opens up a handful of times each year, and right now is one of those times. So hit the link to get in while admission is still open. So, first the concept, then some examples. One of the most powerful ways any content creator can make powerful connections with your audience is to use storytelling in your content. It is one of the most fundamental ways that one human being connects with another. It's that big of a deal. Now, the master framework for any story goes like this. A story is where a character wants something, overcomes conflict to get it, and experiences transformation as a result. This is the master framework that fits any story that you'll ever tell. I've been looking for ways where it doesn't apply. I've not found any yet. If you know of one, let me know. Now, this framework can expand or contract depending on the length of whatever piece you're doing, whether it's a multi-season TV series or whether it's something as small as one of those 15-second commercials on YouTube that you can't skip. The good news is, the shorter your content, the more this framework shrinks down to just those few ideas, those 3 words of desire, conflict, and transformation or change. And really, if you had to use only one word to talk about what storytelling is, it's that one right there. Change. And this is the key to a never-ending source of story ideas. Talk about things that change and then connect those to different ideas in your content. Thoughts, feelings, ideas, memories, people, whatever you want. Now, change tends to break down into 2 main areas: external and internal. External is usually easier to show because it's something that happens on the outside. Usually you can see it. Something's there, now it's not. Something starts here, then ends up there, something like that. The flip side to this is external change doesn't tend to make a lot of emotional or mental connection with people because it's just exterior, it's just on the outside. What people really identify with is that second area of change. It's the internal change. And that's where all the good stuff happens, because it talks about how people change on the inside, in their hearts and their minds. And that's where all the attachment comes from. My family and I are in Omaha, Nebraska. We're in the process of moving from Los Angeles to our new home. I did a video about that. You can check it out here. I've lived in Omaha a couple different times over my life. First, when I was in kindergarten and first grade, so I was a little kid, and then also my first couple years of college. And one of my favorite places in Omaha is right here. It's the Old Market. The Old Market is a part of downtown that used to be old offices and warehouses, and now it's all updated, and it's these cool lofts and restaurants, including the very first coffee shop I ever went to. I was out with some friends, and I had never been to a coffee shop before, and we went in this place, and I looked up at the signs, and I didn't recognize anything. I had no idea what anything was. The only thing I recognized was the word espresso. I pointed at the sign, I said, "I'll have that." And the person behind the sign said, "You sure?" I said, "Yes." So 20 minutes later, I sipped down my shot of espresso, and I was bouncing off the walls. And my friends were looking at me and they said, "Dude, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." Oh, sweetie, behold the wonder that it is, the slides in the Omaha Mall.
Wow.
When I was a kid, my family and I used to come down to the Central Park Mall, this waterfront development right in the middle of downtown Omaha, with a river running right in the middle of it with ducks and swans and everything. And there was this amazing set of slides that you could go down. Aren't you so super excited?
I don't know.
Believe me, you should be.
Okay.
Even as a grown-up, they were pretty good size. But as a kindergartner, they were gigantic. We would sit on paper bags and wax paper to make us fly down those things faster, and it was the best thing ever. Oh yeah! Now that is good stuff. When we got to Omaha this time, I was kind of blown away to find that they completely filled in that riverfront. As in, there used to be a river and it's not there anymore. There's a whole new riverfront development coming in within the next year or so, but I'm happy to say that not everything is changing. They are still keeping the slides.
Hey, sweetie,
What?
how do you feel?
Let's do it again. Let's do it
No, I'm done. One is enough.
again. No, it's not. So when you take this idea of change, things that do change, things that don't change, you start getting all kinds of ideas for stories you can put into your content, or maybe even just story nuggets, little pieces of story that you can drop in from time to time. And sometimes you tell them just for the sake of telling a story itself, and other times you tell the story or drop the story nuggets and you connect it to an idea to make your point or whatever you want to do with it. But just remember, people are far less likely to care what changes on the outside as opposed to what changes on the inside. That's where your audience's connection is going to come from. Old red barns. They used to stretch all the way down to the end of that metal building down there. You don't want to just see the changes in the lumberyard where you worked at when you were in college. You want to talk about the things that you realized when you're there.
This is the place where I decided I did not want to spend the rest of my time sliding lumber from a flatbed truck into bins along red barn alleyways like this. I said, let's go to California. And so I did.
And it's not just about visiting the building that used to be the radio station where you worked as a college freshman. It's about realizing the journey that you've been on, learning how to communicate with other people, and to one day come to the place where you're empowering other people to do the same thing for themselves and for their audiences. If you like these kind of ideas, we talk about them all the time in our monthly membership group called the Green Room. And admission only opens up a handful of times each year. Now is one of those times, so check out the link to get in on that. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.